Here we go again.
Here we go. Here we go. It's doing that weird thing again with the tagging folks. Hey.
Okay. Voila.
Okay. Yes.
Happy New Day.
Hey.
Happy New Day. Happy Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And
let's see, we'll put you right there.
okay. We're all in accordance
Yes.
and ready for Happy New Day with Ari J.
That happy new day.
Yes. Okay. So, how are you feeling?
I feel good. Yeah, I feel great, as a matter of
As
fact.
you should.
Yeah, yesterday was a day of major accomplishment on multiple fronts.
Do tell.
Yes. Let's see. I was a guest on my partner Maxie's Maxie's podcast, which was off the chain. Actually, it went almost 4 hours. It was a really intense talk. If you hadn't got a chance to check out it's a man's channel primarily. Men talking about relationships and just navigating through life and entrepreneurism and stuff like that. So the Too Much Moxie podcast. If you get a chance, check that out. But we had a real interesting talk yesterday. We touched on a number of subjects, celibacy, and touched a little bit on tantra, touched a little bit on just, how men, and, just men and women's relationships. It was a solid forum, though. And then that was intriguing. I wasn't expecting it to go 4 hours, but it was a lot of good, different viewpoints and whatnot, and just getting a chance, for men to really hang out and and share their voices and whatnot. So it was really good, really good. And then we had got the great news that we'll be flown out to Ohio in July for the community fair, and so they're flying us out to do our first real community action event. Where we'll be speaking on health and wellness to the folks over in Ohio. It's a church over that way that's bringing us out, and so that's going to be one of the first legs of the ministry side of our health and wellness ministry. So we're happy about that. Big props to Brian for considering us for that and putting us in line and facilitating that for us to make that happen. We're so looking forward to going out. More news to come, and then actually that's happened over the weekend. But we were brought on board for the a right to life.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so we'll be being trained as suicide prevention counselors and whatnot. So when people experiencing mental health issues and considering suicide, will be in place to help mediate that, and reach out to we'll be doing a lot of community outreach around here in Atlanta in particular. So that's something that's a right to life, and so that's something that's near and dear to our hearts, because we have been wanting to move into the health and the mental health space, because that's something that mental health challenges are becoming more and more prevalent in our society with the stresses that exist, and then also the chemical imbalances. As believe it or not, a big majority of those mental health cases or the mental health issues that people are dealing with comes from a mental imbalance. Mm-hmm. And many times they can be dealt with the use of certain herbs that'll help bring you back in balance, and then the mind and the hormones come back into balance, and then all of a sudden what seemed like major depression, now all of a sudden is alleviated, or bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, well, maybe not schizophrenia, but yeah, it's curable. That's all. I'll just leave it at that. It's curable.
Thank you to our sister Simi Blair for the opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Gratitude.
Thank you. And then we were given the green light. I'll go into detail on the sources of that to come, but we've been given the green light to build our studio out downstairs, which is going to be phenomenal. And so that's going to create a teaching platform here at the Quantum Wellness Center East. And so we're looking forward to that. So we'll have a full studio downstairs within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And so, and then our show will, our Happy New Day with Ari J show will be upgraded highly and will be streaming across multiple platforms, YouTube in particular. And so people will be able to experience, the teachings and our community can grow at an exponential level because we'll be expanding our footprint above and beyond the three channels that we're on right now. And so we're getting it together. So everything's coming together slowly but surely. So yeah, yesterday was an intense day. Just with the good news that was coming through and the strides that we're making, and people tapping into the show and really, our exposure growing. And so people, believe in, what we're doing. And, we're just expanding one day at a time. And so God willing, the tens of 20s of folks is going to turn into tens of millions of folks within the next year, next couple of years. So we'll be looking forward to reaching our goal of really expanding, the ministry and being a positive change, not only to, our community, but communities around the world. I should say underserved communities around the world that don't readily have access to this information. So that was my intro to what's gone on. Yesterday was definitely a game changer, getting all the good news that came through. Yes. Yeah, I'm really excited about the studio. I'm really excited about everything, really.
As am I.
Yeah, the studio, that's going to be off the chain. And then being able to have classes here on site, that's going to be really great. And then being able to broadcast across the world. Shoot, the right to life. I'm really excited about that program, and getting certified, as a presenter to help others do the same.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really good. And then getting flown out to Ohio. That's gonna be off the chain. Yes, I can't wait to get out to Ohio and connect with my high school classmate, Brian Campbell. If you ever want some good old stick to your rib soul food, Brian Campbell. He's got the ooey gooey. Ooey gooey. Yeah, ooey gooey. Yeah, definitely when we go to Ohio, we're gonna have that cheat day and get it in. Cause I've been seeing him post all them photo pictures. All the pictures of it is phenomenal. He has a catering truck, and the foods that he makes is off the chain. And I always tell him, I say, yeah, man, first chance we get, we're gonna slide out there to Ohio and get all that ooey and the gooey and make that a dedicated cheat day. But definitely some good eating.
Yes, indeed. And we are talking about electric foods. Electric foods.
Electric foods.
When it comes to electric foods, I attribute foods in general. It's about the efficacy of the food, the fuel. We're calling it fuel. Many times when we go to the gas station, you have 91, 89, and what's the one in the middle? 80. Oh, I said it high going low. Okay, so
89, 91.
89, 91. Okay, I thought it was a third one.
No, it is. It's like
87?
No, 87. Well, shoot, I always just did.
But I didn't know that there was 100 octane.
Yeah, high octane gas. Yeah.
That's what we should be focused on, high octane fuel for our own bodies. And the efficacy, being able to burn it off and burn it off clean without too much residue left in our systems. Let's see here. So we want to go for organic, or as organic as possible, fresh grown, and know the hands that are growing the food. That always helps. I want to throw in, since we're at the top of this, vitamin C. Vitamin C is very important. There is a berry. It's bitter, but you can find it in supplement form. The highest concentration, this is per Dr. Sebi, told me himself, the highest concentration of vitamin C can be found in camu, C-A-M-U, C-A-M-U.
Camu.
If you're needing a higher dose of vitamin C, I found it, I take it in liquid form, so it can go straight to my bloodstream. But then you can also find it in supplement form, in pill form, and it is bitter. So if you find a camu berry, you've been warned. It's bitter, but you can find it in other ways. Okay, let's see here. You know, in food, we're talking about efficacy, and really it comes to a question of, who am I? And am I feeding my highest self? Am I feeding my highest self? So when we stop off at the different fast food places, who's being fed? Who's being fed in the drive-through? You know, because we have the potential to be four-dimensional beings. And that's by way of what we eat, because we are what we eat. So if we're eating a lot of junk, then that is just a matter of time before it's represented in your life.
Right.
Yes. Okay. And we're at an age of discipline. I know we talk about the age of Aquarius, the age of knowledge, but this is the age of discipline, where you really have to hunker down and be serious about your health, be accountable for your health. And as I said before, taking in the foods, taking in I would even say fruits, to be and activate your highest self. Fruit. I know of a lady who, for 1,008 days, it may seem like a long time for some, for 1,008 days, all she ate was oranges.
Really?
All she ate was oranges.
Okay.
And
how was that?
She, at the end of the day, at the end of those days, she had no symptoms, no issues. She had reversed everything in her body, and she looked like 20 years younger.
Wow. Nothing but oranges.
Nothing but oranges for 1,008 days.
1,008 days. So that's what, a little bit over 3 years?
Yeah, but all she ate was oranges. And
almost 3 years?
Yeah, so her high vitamin C count, I mean, it was, it was shooting out.
Nothing but oranges.
Nothing but oranges.
Wow, that's deep.
And again, it's about what's most easily digested in your system. Because heavy foods, they have us to feel intoxicated or sluggish or sleepy. We've all heard of the term itis. And
Got the itis.
yeah, and then you look at, what is the show called? 6,600 Pound Life?
Yeah.
That's not from eating avocado.
No.
That's not from eating trail mix,
Right.
you know? So what you eat really does matter. You know who started out with fruit?
What was it?
Adam.
Adam
ate fruit.
Yeah.
That was his first foods, was fruit.
Right.
Yes. And what's most important about the fruit is actually the seed. So we have the seeds, the birds come and have the seeds, and then they spread the fruit all over the land, and trees pop up, and it just continues life. The best seed, honestly, if you have a high-powered blender, is avocado.
What does the avocado do?
Avocado is it's a superfood. It's like the best, and the meat of the avocado is good, but it's actually the seed that holds the most potent nutrition.
Okay.
Yes. When we're hungry, all that it means is that the body's running out of fuel. Okay. Let's see here. Did you know that your highest energy is on an empty stomach?
Really?
That's when your brain is actually activated. That's why our energy is where it is when we fast. Do you notice a shift when we fast?
Yeah,
What do you notice?
I feel like Superman when I fast. Clarity of mind, clarity of being. I become like hypersensitive to, not hypersensitive, that technically has a negative connotation, but I feel more aware of my surroundings. I become more spiritually connected. When I look to shift into meditative states, it's way easier to do when I'm fasting as opposed to when I'm not. And then especially once my body switches into a state of ketosis, where I'm pulling my energy from, switching off from a sugar or glucose power source into a more of a fat, tapping into the fat reserves.
Yes.
That really, and it starts to and then all the toxins are removed as well, and so the body starts to, technically they call it, eat itself, but it eats away all the bad things that are existing inside of your system. And so as my body purifies itself during a fast, then I can feel, that boost of energy and, it takes me to a different level.
Yes, on an empty stomach. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And like when you're taking, like especially when we're doing like the celery juices or and whatnot, or like the lemon waters, it's always suggested that you take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blend mine once we're finished with this here. Yes, and with ecology in mind, it's actually best to eat fruit because the land isn't plowed. You're just picking fruit off of the trees. So to be a 30% foodie is ideal for the land. And I'm going to go into that in just a couple of minutes. Meat versus fruit. Yes. So fruit, it burns quicker. And as I said before, it's about the efficacy of the fuel, how it burns. And a lot of us, we have these cars. Well, my car only takes 91. My car doesn't take this and that. But then we feed ourselves junk.
Right.
Our fuel matters as well. I feel that it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I apologize, everybody. I was looking for this list that somehow is somewhere else on my computer other than where it started off at. So so I'm right here with y'all. I'm just trying to pull up this info.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and for a person, and we're speaking about the ecology of our eating. Okay, if someone, this is meat versus fruit. For someone who eats just meat for 1 year, it takes 15,000 liters of water to feed that one person.
Wow.
Meat for 1 year. If this, yes, 15,000.
Wow.
Versus If you just have fruit, the person can survive, and it would only take 300 liters of water.
What?
Facts.
Wait, run that back again. So 15,000.
For one person to survive off of meat alone, it would take 15,000 liters of water to produce meat for one person, for 1 year.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Then if this person is having just fruit and surviving on that, the person would take up 300 liters of water to survive.
Gotcha.
Yes. Did your list come up just yet?
Yeah, it's not my original one. I just went and pulled.
And I'll mention again, camu, if you're in the need for vitamin C, high vitamin C, camu, CAMU.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So, yes. So when we talk about electric foods, we're talking about eating to live. We're talking about having a live it, eating live foods that are really going to build our bodies and help us function at a high level. A lot of, we're talking about nutrient dense foods that basically because we're electric beings. And so whatever you're doing to feed that charge, that's what's going to take you to the next level. We have a tendency, with the commercialized farming system, that the foods that we are given or offered to us in mass are dead. And so if we're eating dead foods, well, guess what it's doing to us? It's causing us to die. You either eat to live or you eat to die. We have two choices, and there's really anything that's like in the middle per se. And so you have to look at, when people have, sickness and disease, a lot of times, sometimes, I ask them, like, open up your cabinet and tell me what's inside your cabinet. What's the 10 main things that you would normally take out your 10 favorite things that you use in your cabinet. And once they pull out the cans or the boxes or whatever that is, or open up your refrigerator, and, set it on the counter, and then we'll run through the ingredient list, and you start looking at like the little sidebar with all the preservatives in there, and then you can start running through and then doing a Google search on the side effects of each of those chemicals and preservatives that are inside the food, and you'll find out more times than not that whatever the health challenges that you're dealing with is associated with the ingredients on that list. Yeah, without fail. I mean, it's almost scary. But yeah, like when they mention, the cure is in the kitchen. The disease is in the kitchen too. Yeah, it's in those ingredients, those preservatives, those pesticides that are used on the foods that we're eating that are causing us to be sick. And so when we're talking about electric foods, we're talking about live food primarily. Food that's going to enhance our bodies, food that's going to help us ascend and really tap into our higher energies and maintain them. Yeah, because when you're eating dead foods, it has a drawing effect on you. So not only from a physical standpoint, but from a spiritual standpoint, because you don't have that electric field, that high vibrational foods. If you're taking in low vibrational foods, it dims your vibration. And so that's something to really be mindful of as you move, and as you move throughout this plane of existence. And so some of the foods, like when we talk about vegetables and things of that nature, we primarily refer back to the Dr. Sebi's list. That's pretty much the go-to. The reason being is, I'm not going to say he was like the first one to introduce it, but he was the first one to really make it a mainstream process or a mainstream understanding. I brought it to the mainstream as far as having an understanding in the things that Dr. Sebi was able to accomplish with, his sell food, electric foods, and the concept of that is second to none. And so that's where we got our start in the space, in understanding of just the different types of foods. And one thing I liked about Dr. Sebi is things that were commonplace or that he that we thought were like good. Kind of like it was a shock initially. You're like, wait, I like that. And he's like, oh no. No, that's bad, what it does, in your system. We talked about like the carrots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. You couldn't tell me nothing about, some good carrot juice. I thought I was doing something. And so, yes, it does have its benefits, but there's some negative qualities associated with it as well. And so the vegetables that we're looking at off of Dr. Sebi's list are, Amaranth Greens, same as Cantaloupe, and it's a variety of spinach, avocado, bell peppers, coyote, like a Mexican squash, cucumber. If you don't have access to celery, the next best thing is cucumber. True. Yeah, as far as alkalizing the body. Yeah, and so if there's ever a substitute, they kind of go hand in hand. So it's not necessarily 1A, 1B as far as celery, cucumber, but it's like 1, 2. Yeah, so if you can't have access to the celery, cucumber is the next best thing. Mm-hmm. Also, cucumber juice is a lot easier than celery too.
Easier in what way?
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I mean it liquefies a lot better. It's a lot smoother. It doesn't have the fiber.
It gets kind of chewy. My drink.
Yeah, exactly. Dandelion greens, garbanzo beans, chickpeas, kale. Yeah, that's our go-to. We eat some kale like almost every meal every day here. So yeah, mushrooms. I never caught that part. Mushrooms except shiitake.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Dang, I didn't. Oh shit.
But we don't eat shiitake. We don't eat shiitake.
Oh, well, I always like shiitake.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, no more shiitake for me. Yeah. I just show up at the table, to be honest with you. Now, especially since I no longer have those responsibilities. I do cook, but I don't have to cook. So that's the thing. Olives, onions, sea vegetables. Squash, tomatoes, tomatillo, zucchini, watercress. Papaya, and we're looking at fruits and whatnot. So you got papayas, peaches, pears, plums, prickly pear, prunes, raisins, soft jelly, coconuts. Yeah, coconuts. The coconut.
Yes.
Sour sops and tamarind. When we're talking about nuts and seeds on the electric foods list, we're talking about hemp seed, raw sesame seeds, walnuts, and Brazil nuts. Yeah, and so when we're talking about oils, we're looking at olive oil, coconut oil. Do not cook them, but they're good additives for your food. Grapeseed oil, that's pretty much our go-to as far as the oils that we cook with. Sesame oil, that's one of our favorite. Hemp seed oil and avocado oil. As a matter of fact, I'll make sure I post this list for all to see. Other fruits would be apples, bananas, berries, elderberries. Yeah, elderberries are off the chain. Yeah, for they have excellent healing properties. In particular with the for people dealing with respiratory issues. You got cantaloupe cherries. You know what? I've heard different things about cherries. Kind of like touch and go. Well, you know what it is? The newer, the modern day cherries are it's hard to find real legit cherries that aren't GMO, and that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, they've been crossbred and they've done some things to the cherries that really have the cherry's not a cherry. That's what it was. Dates, figs, grapes, seeded grapes.
Yes.
Oh, that's the thing. Fruits that don't have seeds, run away from them because they've been crossbred. I know it's convenient, and that's why they did it. The powers that be decided to move in that direction because it's convenient. But you have to keep in mind that the seed is how the fruit reproduces.
Yes.
And so if you have a fruit with no seed, and we are what we eat, when you look at the myriad of sexual dysfunction in our society, in Western society, when you look at, the fruits that have no seeds, that should, there's somewhat of there's a link in there, because if you're eating things that have no reproductive properties, there's just a matter of time before it starts to affect your ability to reproduce. And so keep in mind, any fruits with no seeds you want to stay away from. You always want to have the seeded watermelons, the seeded grapes.
And chew the seeds, especially the watermelon seeds. Those are really good for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we talk about spices and seasons. You're talking about basil, bay leaf, cloves, dill, oregano. That's some good stuff. Parsley is solid, especially for when my oldest daughter had the aneurysm, the second one. Dr. Rab, he had turned us on to the parsley root tea. Yeah, and so because people were like, well, what did you do to help? Because when she experienced the second aneurysm when she was 18, her cognitive skills were done, shot, totally gone. And she didn't know what 2 + 2 was. Her ability to read was like her ability to focus. Like she would read one line and then drop down 4 lines and then lose her place. Her recall was totally almost gone. And so, and what that is, it comes from when the person has an aneurysm in the brain, a bleed on the brain, the excess blood fills up and starts to bump parts of and there's only so much, space inside your skull. The skull's not going to expand. And so that excess blood fills up and it starts to bump the brain up against the skull. And ultimately what happens is you start having those issues, cognitive issues, depending on where the bleed shows up at. And so where it was affecting her, I still believe, you know what, that's quite some time ago. I don't recall exactly where it was. Because she's had multiple aneurysms over the years, but where it showed up, it really affected her ability to, that second time around really did a number on her. But 6 weeks later, the main issue when a person has an aneurysm is pulling the blood out, the excess blood, and so parsley root tea is excellent for removing the excess blood from an aneurysm. And so when a person has a bleed like that, the first thing you do is stabilize the bleed. And so we use the V19 juice to help start to repair the body. And then from Dr. Dr. Sebi, he had this formula called Banju.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is the brain enhancer. Then we used ginkgo coca-cola and ginkgo coca-cola from Dr. Rab and the parsley root tea from Dr. Rab. And within 6 weeks, she was back taking her finals. You know, it was an amazing thing. As a matter of fact, it actually improved her brain functionality to a point where it enhanced her above and beyond where she was before she actually had the aneurysm. And so, but that parsley root tea is the truth, especially if you got like somebody's mentioning things of excess blood in certain areas. It pulls it all out, and then that pressure. Once that pressure is relieved, the brain starts to fire again, and then the damage that was done from the bleed gets repaired. Yeah, so we have let's see, savory, sweet basil, tarragon, and thyme. And then let's see, there's a few other things I'll post a list after we're done, so that you have a written view, a written reference, for the information that was given or provided today.
Yes.
Let's see. It says, "Hey, beautiful couple. Hey, Felicia, how you doing? Hey, beautiful couple. I've been looking for you both. I thought I found you here. Oh, hey, okay."
Greetings. I wanted to mention, because you mentioned quite a few fruits. And truth is, anything that has a seed is actually a fruit. So we don't associate avocado with being a fruit. We don't associate bell pepper with being a fruit because it has a seed. So seeds and fruit, all fruit has a seed. Yes. And we mentioned the different nuts and things that we can eat or that are best to eat. And a lot of them can be used as meat, as an alternative for all those who are looking to switch to a more plant-based diet. Yeah, I've made walnut meat, and you have to soak the walnuts and then get them nice and tasty, and all the garlic and onions and everything, and you can actually make tacos and things out of walnut meat.
Okay. Yes, that's good stuff.
So you don't just have to think of nuts as, okay, I'm going to eat a bag of almonds or whatever. You can do things with them.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think my favorite tacos that you've made are the oyster mushrooms. That's my favorite.
Oyster mushrooms are everything.
Yes.
Oyster mushrooms, oh gosh, yeah.
Let's see. Felicia says, "I checked Ari's page and thought you both wasn't doing live." Felicia, is Ari's page, is not her live isn't showing up on her page? Is that what it is, Felicia? Because she said, "I checked Ari's page and thought you both wasn't going live."
Oh, we're showing live here.
Yeah.
But then there was some issues yesterday too, so we'll get to the bottom of that today. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, appreciate that, Felicia.
Yes. Yeah.
So, did you have anything else?
Fruit. It helps to sweep us, and then the vegetables help to ground us. So keep that in mind when taking everything in. It is best to have your fruit in the morning, and or break your fast with the fruit. Your breakfast should be fruit. Why? Because you wake up and then it's just about time to eliminate. So you want to help to sweep your digestive system, digestive tract, and then you have your vegetables, as you mentioned, many of them, like I said, to ground us.
So yeah, vegetables after 12.
Oh, okay.
Fruits before noon to break the fast. to help flush our bodies out. Then the vegetables start to build us up. Because we're talking, and this is in reference to the cycles of the body as far as the optimal times to eat certain foods. And then in the afternoon, that's when we want a more hearty types of foods and whatnot. So we're looking at having, a dinner basically. And so that's when the rest of the foods on the list will come into play.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've gone through everything.
Okay. Well, all right. I would watch the replay. I got on late at work. Okay. All right, Aunt Felicia. Well, God bless you.
We appreciate you.
Well, have a phenomenal day.
Yes.
Yes, have a phenomenal day. And we'll be back with y'all tomorrow.
What's the subject for tomorrow?
What is the subject for tomorrow? I think we're talking about some tea. We're talking about tea.
I love some tea.
Oh, we gotta talk about all the good teas.
Yes. And benefits.
And we got the tea queen right here.
Because I love tea.
Yes, she loves tea.
Tea's the best. Yes.
Okay. Well, we love you all. Have a phenomenal day. Peace and blessings.
Peace.